So this is Marc here with the creators of Radical Access. And first of all, I just wanted to ask you guys a little bit about what the show's about. What's Radical Access all about?
The show, it's about a crazy dude named Scott who hired, no, Radical Access is actually the animation studio that does lots of great animation for Adult Swim and other awesome cartoons around America.
Okay. So have you guys done some of them in the past? Like I know you were involved with Aqua Teen, obviously, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, and 12-Ounce Mouse.
Yeah.
And do you guys have any projects in the works right now?
Yeah, we're actively recently developing something new that we're very excited about. We're going to go hit the town with it in a couple months, and maybe that'll turn into a show.
That's awesome.
And these guys are always developing in-house stuff that they're trying to put together.
Very cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a couple questions. First one's about 12-Ounce Mouse. Recently, personally, I watched the whole thing all back to back, and I wanted to ask you guys who are involved in the process.
You watched the whole thing?
I did. I did. I'm the guy. I watched it. I watched the whole thing back to back, and I wanted to ask you, was it intended to sort of be watched as one big thing, or was it intended sort of to be these small episodic episodes?
It just made sense at the end where we're going to put out a DVD to string it all together as one very long Hobbit-style movie. You know, we tried to. I think it goes longer than any Peter Jackson film ever. Yeah, that was the intent. Ultimately, I mean, it was the series followed the next episode and the next one. So. I wish I had a prize for you watching the whole thing.
I did. I watched the whole thing back to back. It was an experience. Let me tell you, it was quite an experience. And actually, one thing I really liked about 12-Ounce Mouse, some people may write it off as being simplistic, but I felt that actually there's some really complex themes in the show, sort of interwoven in there, and it sort of left me actually after watching the whole thing with sort of a creepy feeling, sort of at the end of it. It was funny, but sort of in a really dark sort of way. And is that something I've also noticed that Aqua Teen, that's sort of a theme for you guys. It's funny, but there's also sort of a weird seriousness to it. Is that something that you guys try to put forward in your work, or?
Yeah, I mean, a 12-Ounce Mouse was sort of off the mainstream chart there, so I was able to do whatever I wanted to with it. And so I sort of wanted to create this David Lynch-esque fever dream with it, and so I think that succeeded. And then with Aqua Teen, we occasionally try to get serious, but I mean, it's really just about goofing off and having fun, and I think these guys enjoyed having fun and goofing off with it too. So half of the comedy is what we think of in the script, and then the other half comes after these guys put it all together. It's always a surprise. It's a great surprise.
And also, I wanted to ask you guys, with 12-Ounce Mouse and Aqua Teen, how do you guys manage to cram so much into such a small amount of time? Because there are these awkward pauses, these long, drawn-out awkward pauses, but you only have 15 minutes to cram it in. So is there sort of a storyboarding process, or how does that usually work for you guys?
I think if we storyboarded it, we would say it would never work. So we just go for it. I come in and go, hey, what if this happens and this happens? And then I come back a week later and they show it to me with extras, and I'm like, yeah, let's air that,
So it's sort of just, I mean, and it seems obviously you guys have total creative control, obviously, with both of these shows. And so where do the ideas come from? Do you guys just kind of sit around and just talk about, well, what would be funny, what would be a strange thing? Because especially with Aqua Teen, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but I almost felt like there was a couple times where I was like, oh, there can't be any more Aqua Teens. They're not going to do any more seasons. Yeah. And then I turn it on and, well, there's some more Aqua Teen coming out. So, I mean, it's a silly question, but how do you guys come up with these ideas constantly for these Aqua Teen guys? I mean, I know a lot of people would say, well, it's obviously drugs, or something like that. But I'm joking with you guys. Like, how do you guys really, like, keep these characters sort of fresh and interesting? I notice that sometimes characters will sort of change roles. Like, Frylock seems to be an altruist most of the time. But there are episodes where Frylock is pretty diabolic. Yeah. So do you guys
like
just
real
keep
life.
it fresh?
I mean, it's real life. It's just amplified real life. I mean, you're still going, So
that's true.
We just think of, Craig might do something crazy, and we're like, well, let's put that in the show, or whatever. I mean, but really, it's all about the drugs that we take.
Well, I hear that a lot, honestly, and I'm like, no. I kind of, to people who say, oh, well, it's obviously drugs, I'm like, well, maybe there's a little bit of that, but these guys are genuinely putting something in there. You know what I mean? I mean, I mean, it sounds silly to say and maybe making it more than it is, but there is sort of like there's real stuff in there. These characters do talk like people. That's the strange thing. It's amazing to me that the dialogue, it's, again, people put it off as simplistic or easy, but there's some real thought that goes in there.
Yeah, that's because we go off script a lot, and we do a lot. Well, yeah, I mean, the scripts, boy, there's just a lot to that question. I mean, I'm not sure how much tape you have.
Take as much time as you need.
No, I just think it's a very organic process. We try to really manipulate it in the records and have fun with it and make it sound like it's real, and it all comes down to the editing, and then it all comes down to the look and the style and the compositing, and it just all that together. If we just did a script as written and recorded, it wouldn't be great. but it takes all these people to put it together and make it what it is.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. It was great talking to you all. I'm looking forward to what you guys have coming up next.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Great to meet you guys. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Batman.
Thanks, fellas. Hey, thanks. Thanks, guys. Great to meet you guys.